Okay, class, here we are, another day in chemistry. Yesterday we started talking about matter and the fact that the whole world, everything in the universe is made up of matter, okay? And how do we talk about matter? We talk about matter in terms of atoms, that matter is made up of atoms, which is the smallest part of an element. And so the atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons are positive, neutrons do not have a charge, electrons are negative. If you look here, this is an example of a carbon atom. Like your pencil is made up of graphite, and that graphite is made up of carbon. If I were to look at the individual carbon atom, this is what I would see. I would see the electrons that are in the cloud of the atom. You see I have 6 electrons. And then you see in the nucleus of the atom, I have protons, which are positive, and I have neutrons. So I have 6 protons and I have 6 electrons, and the number of neutrons actually differ depending on what type of carbon atom it is. Okay, so if you look here, class, today we're going to be doing an experiment, and the experiment is designed to help us to understand how static electricity is related to protons, neutrons, and electrons. How this all is related to the atoms. So we have our helper here today. Let's say hi to our helper.
Hi.
All right. So today, you know my son James. And so today what we're going to do, we're going to go through 4 different quick experiments. And so I'm going to read the experiment while he performs the experiment for us, okay? So here it is. So the first one is, it says to cut 2 strips from a plastic grocery bag. Well, I already cut the strips out. So James, can you show them the strips? And it says cut 2 strips from a plastic grocery bag so that each one is about 2 to 4 centimeters wide and about 20 centimeters long. Hold the plastic strip, so we're just going to use one plastic strip right now. Hold the plastic strip firmly at one end, then grasp the plastic strip between the thumb and fingers of your other hand as shown. All right, good. Quickly pull your top hand up so that the plastic strip runs through your fingers. Do this three or 4 times. Yep, go ahead. Do it 3 or 4 times. Good. Allow the strip to hang down, then bring your other hand near it and see what happens. And I'm going to do it also, class, to see if there's a difference between James and I. So you see that I'm doing it. You guys see a difference between him and I, class? What is happening? Okay, so on your data table, you're going to fill out what you saw happen, okay? So that was the first experiment. It says right here, charged plastic and charged skin. So for some reason, it didn't work as well for James, but for me, you can see very clearly what is happening, okay? Very clear what's happening. Did it attract or did it repel? So you're going to put in attract or repel, and then you're going to use what you know about electrons, protons, and charges to explain your observations. So let's go over that right now, class. So James, I'm going to have you stand back just a little bit, James, and I'm going to go over this. Okay, if you look here, class, see we have plastic in the skin, and you can see that for the plastic we have electrons and protons, positive and negative, right? The protons are positive and electrons negative. You see that? And you see that we also have that for the skin. Now, when I rub the plastic between my fingers, what happens? My skin is giving off the negative electrons, okay? It's giving the negative electrons, okay? It's giving the plastic the negative electrons. And you might say, well, why is that? And why isn't it giving it the positive electrons? Well, Because the electrons are on the outside of the atom. These are more easily able to be given to be given away because they're on the outside. The protons are not. They are in the nucleus, okay? So that's why the skin is going to give, my hand is going to give the plastic the negative. So then when my other hand comes next to the plastic, right? When my other hand comes next to the plastic, now this has more negative and my hand has more positive, right? Because I'm giving away the negative. So now I have more positive for my skin and more negative here. So you've heard the saying, James, have you heard the saying that opposites attract? Have you heard that saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is exactly what's happening. Because my plastic is more negative, because I gave it that, and my hand now is more positive, my hand and my plastic are going to attract each other. Okay? So if I do this, I'm giving it more negatives, and now my hand is positive, and so now the plastic and my hand are going to attract each other. See that? It's going to attract.
Isn't that why they call it electricity? Because you're giving electrons?
That's right. Excellent point there, young man. Excellent point. Okay, that was number 1 experiment. Let's do number 2 experiment. Number 2, let me find it, sorry. Okay, you ready, James? Charge one strip of plastic the same way you did before. This time, bring the plastic strip towards your desk or chair. Write attract or repel. So we're going to pull it towards our table here. And let's see what happens. You see what's happening there, class? And there is not a fan on, but you see how it just goes right to it? Okay, so is that going to be attracting it or repelling it? All right, we're going to write that right on our data table. So right here it says charged plastic and neutral desk. What happened? Was it attracting or repelling? And of course, give your reasons why. Think about what we just went over. Okay, let's do number 3. Experiment number 3, here we go. Ready, James? 2 pieces of charged plastic time. Charge 2 strips of plastic. Can you charge them again, James? Charge 2 strips of plastic. He's going to charge both of them. And then he's going to slowly bring the 2 strips of plastic near each other and see what happens. Can you turn this way so he can see it? There we go. Okay, now I'm going to try because we tried this before and we for some reason when I do it we have a different I think because I have a big old sweatshirt on. Okay, so you can clearly see what is happening here. Okay, that there is not a fan on, but what is the plastic doing? Okay, if I see that, what's happening there? Okay, that should be very clear what's happening there. Okay, so on your data table, you're gonna put down either for charged plastic and charged plastic, put down either attract or repel, and please give your reasons why. Why is that? Okay, now we have one more experiment to do. And the last experiment, James, can you get the balloon for us, James, again? Okay, we're gonna get the balloon. And we're gonna put this aside because we're done that part right now. And we have some balloons. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. It says rub a balloon on your hair or clothes. So come on, James, rub it on your hair and your clothes. Get that. Okay, so I'm gonna let James do it first. And it says now bring the balloon slowly towards the small pieces of paper.
Whoa.
Okay, very good. Now it's my turn. Let's see what happens when I do it. Okay, James, we step aside a little bit.
Whoa.
I don't know. I must got a lot of electricity in me, everybody. Look at that. Now, let's try to explain why this is, okay? All right, so we're going to draw a little person here real fast. And here is the balloon. All right, and then here's a person. Okay, I'm not a very good artist, class. Okay. Oh, I look like I'm mad. Don't be mad. Okay. All right. Here's the person. Is a balloon. Now, so what is happening when I rub the balloon against my head? What am I giving to the balloon, everybody? What am I giving to the balloon? Somebody tell me.
Electrons.
I'm giving electrons. Very good. Because we know that the electron, right? I'm giving electrons, right? So, first of all, I know I have positive and negative, positive, negative, and positive, negative. So does a balloon, right? Positive. So I'm giving more negative to balloon, but the balloon already had positive, negative, right? It already had positive, negative. But I'm giving the balloon more negatives, right? I'm giving the balloon more electrons. Would you agree that? Okay, so when we have the little piece of paper, here's the paper. The paper also has positive and negative. Ooh. Positive, let me try another paper. Also has positive and negative, right? It also has positive and negative. So when the balloon comes near the paper, what happens to the positive and negative? We already said that opposites do what? They attract. But we also know that the same is going to repel. So the negative is going to move away because remember we have negatives over here. But so the negatives on the paper, they're going to move away. See that? They're going to be repelled because it has a negative there. So the negative is going to repel it. And so when it repels it, what is now left? The positives are left close to the balloon. Does that make sense? So now this positive and that negative, they're going to attract each other. And that's why the balloon picks up the paper. Does that make sense? Now, did you ask your question again? You had a really nice question when you did this first take.
I just said, why is it that you give the electrons and not the plus, the protons?
Okay, and that was an excellent question, class. Excellent question. Okay, and the reason why that is because once again, the electrons are on the outside of our atom. These are closest to the outside, so these are the ones that are going to be given away. And you're going to learn that when we talk about bonding too, but we're not going to get that in this class because we're not going to have time. But when you get to your 8th grade chemistry class or 8th grade class, you're going to be talking about how these electrons are bonding, how they are able to do that because they are on the outside, okay? So we don't give away the protons because the protons is in the nucleus. We give away the electrons. That's an excellent question, young man. Okay, class. So let's say thank you to our helpers here today. And you know, I say, well, thank you, James. Thank you. We got a big smile for them because he got the handsome smile. Okay. And then let me show my other son. You never get a chance to see him. So there is my other son. That's DJ. And then my baby son, James. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, class. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.